Hey, this is Dave from metalepidemic.com. Thank you for checking out our YouTube video. Please feel free to hit the subscribe button below if you like this type of content, and we hope you enjoy the review. What is up, guys? Dave here from Metal Epidemic. Hope you are all safe and well. Thank you for tuning in to our latest review. For this review, Duncan Kyle and myself have been checking out the new album from Lafayette, Louisiana hardcore quartet Capra. The band's debut album, In Transmission, will be released on April 23rd via Metal Blade Records and Blacklight Media Records. Formed in 2016 by guitarist Tyler Harper and drummer Jeremy Randazzo, who had previously worked together in multiple projects. Harper had just come out of a 90-day stint in rehab and was looking to focus on something new. The initial idea was to create something that would be fresh while still giving listeners a sense of nostalgia for the sounds of the late 90s and early 2000s hardcore and punk scenes. After going through a few lineup changes, they ultimately added bassist Ben Paramore and vocalist Crow Lotus, and everything came together.
It's the coolest fucking name ever. That literally is.
It really is.
The coolest fucking name
Crow-less.
ever.
Yep.
Never been so envious.
There's a name for your kid.
I will keep that in the bag. My wife will shoot it down straight away, Dave, but we will at least put it on the table.
If you wouldn't mind, yeah.
Yeah.
This album was predominantly tracked in December 2019. In Transmission was recorded with Jai Benoit and mixed by Taylor Young from Nails and Twitching Tongues. The only exceptions were Mutt, Transfiguration and Deadbeat Assailant, which were recorded during the pandemic lockdown and required the members to go into the studio individually to lay down their parts rather than all going in together. Okay, so Capra and In Transmission. I want to say that Duncan mentioned this band to me.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think the producer's name is Benoit. I think that's how you pronounce that. Just bringing my French Creole to the stage, and I think it's Louisiana. That's how you pronounce the Louisiana. I think it's Louisiana. That's how they do it. This popped up on my Facebook. This is weird now. Since I started doing music reviews again, Facebook algorithms, the tech gods, Zuckerberg and his infinite wisdom, is target me with all manner of shit. So I'm getting tons of it. It's I scroll through at the moment, all I see is treadmills, because I recently bought one, and bands. And they had a track, and it was a clip of their upcoming single, and female fronted band. So I was like, I want to check this out. Clicked on it. And the riff I heard, this might have been for the Locust Preacher, I think was the track. And it was a 30-second clip. And this riff come in, and I was like, that, holy shit, that's Every Time I Die. It was early, late 90s, early 2000s, Every Time I Die. I was like, yes! Like that, and then the female vocals coming, I was like, this is 100% Every Time I Die. Jumped on, they had 2 singles out, listened to 2 singles, I was like, I fucking love this. Pinged it to Big Davey, because if you ping it to Big Davey, Davey will get you the album. That's how that works. That's how it works. He goes away, I don't want to know how many dicks he has to stroke to get the album early.
Quite a few,
but he will get you the album early. So yeah, I was really excited for this one, because I've said it before, we're at that kind of 20-year lip now, and this is not the only album we're going to be discussing on the recording tonight, which will be spaced out for different things, where that 20-year lip is starting to come into effect, where bands are starting to sound very much like they're influenced by bands I listen to in my kind of informed years, so to speak. So yeah, I was all in for this one. So much so that when this came into the inbox from you, I may have forgotten that everything else had come in. So I've listened to this a whole lot, and some of the other ones maybe not so much. So I was very excited about this one, and I'll go out. I think I might as well just lead the charge on this one. This is exactly what I thought they were going to sound like, and I'm kind of happy about that. There was a part of me that kind of felt that what might happen is they have 1 or 2 songs which are leading with to try and get people in, and then the band's just going to have an album of kind of different sounding material. And they do kind of start to stray a little bit from Every Time I Die territory in terms of song construction, some of the chaotic way that they approach those kind of punky rock riffs, mixed with the kind of hardcore stuff. They do stray a little bit from it, but not far. They keep it fairly enclosed, and it works wonders for them. Every Time I Die is a band who started one way and very, very much over time found an acquired sound, which then made them morph off and do different things. And I always kind of pine for, you go back and you listen to Hot Damn, and Hot Damn is just, it's like a time capsule for me. I was out getting pissed at the weekends and rock clubs and going to see bands on the weekend, and that was my mantra. That's what I listened to get me. It was swagger, it was confidence, it had all the kind of cheesy rock hooks, but I had the punch behind it. These guys channel that in a kind of maybe less kind of cheesy rock riff sort of way, but the energy and the punch and the production on this is fucking first class. You get like great riffs, and they switch up between that kind of hardcore stuff to the more aggressive kind of punky stuff, but they have a couple of sections which like kind of allow them to break out a little bit more and experiment, which I really like. The percussion behind it, the drummer is an absolute beast. I mean, it's just really, really, really entertaining drummer to listen to. And then you get the vocals over the top. And Cro, I did not know that was your name until like 3 minutes ago, and I'm never so happy that I'm going to be using the word Cro a lot in this. Cro's vocals are brilliant. I have a kind of love-hate with female vocalists in metal bands, that I feel that sometimes they feel they have to overcompensate because they're female. I think the kind of death metal female vocal is the bad side of that, where they kind of try to emulate what a man's range or a man's tone, and that's not why I want a female front in a band. Like, women have just in general, women have a better range than men, like just vocally, they just do. They also have a nicer tone to listen to, they just do. But there's something about a pissed off woman with a band behind it that gets my dick hard, right? Like, you really, there's something about, I don't want, like, see you've got an angry woman on a recording, I am in, and she is brilliant. She has, once again, I don't want to keep linking it back to Every Time I Die, but it feels natural. I'd be very surprised if they claim that they're not fans of that band, because that's a lie. But it's clearly, it's an influence. They're not ripping them off or anything like that. So it's not plagiarism. No. This is, that they have a sound and a style that they like. It just so happens a band's done it before, and they're in the same genre, same oeuvre. She has a tone about her that reminds me of early Keith Buckley, and it's before he really found his ability to do a lot more singing. He had a kind of weird it was shouty, but it wasn't screamy. It was like shouty, tonal, kind of angry, and she's got that all the way through this, and I fucking love her vocals on this one. It fits it perfect. It brings a degree of angst to it. She sounds angry. Other times she sounds just a bit like, what the fuck is wrong with the world? And I love all of that. This is an album which really doesn't give you much in the way of frills. It's really stripped back. It's really kind of, nuts and bolts. Meat and two veg. It really is. It's a 11-track album, under 35 minutes in length. It gets in, gets the job done, gets out, and by God, when it finished, was I not like, yep, we're doing that again. Well, let's do that again, play. So I have I've went through it a few times, and I really, really, really like it. I think it's got a really interesting groove and sound to it that I think with time, this band are gonna, I think there's a pre-made audience for them already that will just enjoy it. I think that, there's a preset group of people out there that are just going to gravitate. I heard this, I sent it to, I've got a friend in America who is Every Time I Die daft. He loves Every Time I Die, and I was like, that, check out this band, and he sent me a message right back saying, who the fuck are these guys? Where did you find them? When's their album out? How can I get my hands on it? I think there's a whole group of people out there that want that energy. They're not quite punk fans, but they want that punky energy. They're not quite hardcore fans, because they're not fannies. And shots fired. You know what I mean? They're not quite hardcore fans, and they just want to go out and break shit. and In Transmission by Capra is the perfect music to go out, have a few drinks and break shit. Yeah, I think this is brilliant. I think it's really, really, really good. Like I say, not reinventing the wheel at all, but delivering it pitch perfect. There isn't anything on here where I was like, oh, that was a missed opportunity. It's just really well crafted. Just gets in. Every single song is beat perfectly in terms of it never plays a riff too long. It follows the same formula, which I kind of like in this one. And yeah, I may be wrong, but I'm going to go into a limb and say not a drum sample in sight, Kyle.
You'd be right there. And that's one of the things I was like, a band in 2021 with no fucking drum samples? Are you trying to be Cannibal Corpse?
So yeah, it's safe to say I really enjoyed this one, and there's no greater feeling than hearing something going, oh, this might be, and then it arrives and you're like, totally is. Totally is. What about you, Davey? Kicking it over at me so early, being all aloof and shy, smiling and scratching your chin sometimes while I'm talking.
Yeah, I mean, I like when you sent me over that track, I was really into it. I was really interested to hear the rest of the album. And I just really liked how like vicious this is from the get-go. Like, and actually the first main track, Hollow Doll, actually was way more blackened than I was expecting from Capra after hearing that the singles had released. And I have to take my hat off for kicking off an album like that the way they do In Transmission, because I would have expected a track like that to maybe feature later in the album, because although it's got like a hardcore streak to it, it's not totally indicative of how the band sound for the majority of the album. They do on occasion like to darken up their sound now and again, but this is for the most part a kind of high energy, ferocious, in your face hardcore punk album. I was like same as you, I was picking up Every Time I Die, a little bit of Converge, there's a wee bit of Minor Threat in there as well. Tracks like Medusa or Paper Tongues, for example, you can hear that Every Time I Die characteristic shining through, and in the music and in the vocals. But like yourself, I don't think they necessarily follow a typical hardcore punk formula all the time. They do go kind of unpredictable, more unpredictable than other bands in this genre. There was points in the album where I wasn't sure where it was going to go next, and I like that. I like the kind of uncertainty of it. It definitely kept me engaged. And as you say, it's only like 30 odd minutes long as well, so it's a very easy album to listen to and not get bored of or feel like it's dragging on. My favourite element of this album though was the vocals of Cro-Mags. She has one of those voices that not only sounds killer, but you can feel every word she screams, partly because she has such a great tone, but also due to the lyrical themes that she covers on the album. She means every single word of it, and that comes across in the recording. The other thing I really dug about this is the whole kind of aesthetic they've gone for in the production of the album. I like that it's not a typical kind of modern production on this. It's more in line with something you'd hear from the kind of late 90s. It sounds a wee bit kind of weathered in places, especially the drum sound. But I think it kind of adds more character to their sound, to be honest. I thought it really stood out, the last track on the album, Samurai Kere, which is one of the greatest song titles ever. But they add a bit more kind of melody on that track from the guitars, but it really opens up their sound and kind of adds another dimension to it.
That was one of their singles as well, I think, if memory serves.
It was, yeah. Like as a debut, this is really good in my opinion. It really feels like they know who they are already. Like they don't come across like they're still trying to figure out what they want to sound like. It already sounds like they've been doing this for a while, and they kind of deliver it brilliantly on In Transmission. I found that I appreciated this more and more over time. The hooks can be a little subtle on the first listen, but after a few spins, they definitely kind of became more apparent. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. The album definitely lived up to the singles that they'd released prior. Kyle, my man. Now, the Dream Killer. Your hardcore is a bit kind of like hit and miss for you, so I'm interested.
Yeah, it's very spotty. Definitely. I think it's safe to say. Yeah.
Well, like, this is a hardcore band. Oh, good. But no, I really enjoyed this one. I think it's fantastic, yeah. Not only, I mean, I immediately connected with the lyrical content, like you said. It just doesn't fucking hold back. It's not sugar-coated in any way. she's like, I'm fucking pissed off. I'm pissed off about these specific things. I'm going to tell you about it loudly and intently. And I'm like, I'm all for it. No, I thought it was really good. Everything was, especially, like, I think she makes up half of the reason why this was so good, you know? It's like, the band itself, is they clearly can play their instruments, and the producer knows how to produce a band, because this band sounds like exactly what they should sound like. It's not overproduced, it's not underproduced, there are real drums, holy fucking hell. Everything is not overly polished, it's just great. Just great production, and the song structures, they're not super formulaic, but they do have, like, they know what a verse and a chorus and a breakdown and all this has, which is good. It's very good that they know all that stuff, and they don't overuse the same tropes from hardcore either. I mean, maybe from the early 90s. I didn't really listen to it back then either, but I mean, it sounds great. The songs, the songs themselves as well, you can tell which one you're listening to if you listen to it over and over again. So it's like, you get used to which songs are which songs. They don't sound the same. You're not sat there going, what fucking one is this, you know? Which is amazing for a band that has such a specific sound as early 90s hardcore, with a bit of rock. There were some rock grooves in there, which I loved. They just threw them in, and I'm like, this doesn't sound forced. This doesn't feel like it's pasted in or taped on or anything like that. It just flowed really well. Everything went really well, but I think they've got a few things they need to, like, tweak and stuff. Like, I don't know, timing on the drums a little bit here and there. I was like, where's the drum out? But I mean, actually, that adds more character these days, to be honest. It's like, it wasn't 100% time-aligned drums. So I'm just like, but on the other hand, sometimes it's just like, if I were the producer, like, maybe we do that one again. Maybe they did do it loads of times, but it's okay.
Yeah, could be, because they did. There was parts, or there were songs from the album that were recorded differently to the rest of the album because of COVID and stuff.
Yeah, so it could have been that, absolutely. Yeah. But no, I think they've got a really unique sound going. I think if they lean more on what makes them them, and not forget, but like leave in the dust, like the hardcore aesthetic thing that they clearly want to go for, then I think they've got a long and storied future ahead of them. I really do. I really want to see what they come up with next. I love this, and this is going to be in my usual rotation from now on. So.
Nice. Okay, so ratings for the new album from Capra. Duncan, what are you thinking?
Oh, this is a 4-star album. Every day of the week and twice on Sunday. It's delivered exactly what I wanted. And yeah, like I mean, this is a band, adding to the list of many bands now, this is a band that I cannot wait to see live. As soon as they hit here, we are going, like me and you, Dave, even have to drag you in your long johns, fucking drag you all the way, because this band is, you just know they're going to be fucking amazing live. You just know.
I'll hop on a plane and go to that.
Yeah, you just know for a fact this is a band that is geared pitch perfect for live. So yeah, 4 from me.
Nice. I will completely agree with that. 4 out of 5 from me on Capra's new album. And Kyle?
Yeah, this is a band I didn't know existed and didn't know I needed until I heard it. So it's a 4 out of 5 from me. It's really, really, really good. Yeah.
Reunited and it feels so good. Loving it.
New Capra album In Transmission is out on April 23rd on Metal Blade and Blacklight Media Records. If you want to check out the band, it's facebook.com/Capra Band. I'll put a link in the description below to their Facebook and to their Bandcamp page if you want to check out the album when it drops on April 23rd. Be sure to let us know what you think. Add in some comments if you've heard any of the singles, or once you've heard the album, let us know what you think. Happy to hear your thoughts. And thanks for checking out the review. Much appreciated. We'll be back with another review very soon. But until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.